You're listening to Listenup Show Podcast Show 032. Today, we're talking with content marketer software company Boost Linguistics co-founder Jeff Nowak, who will talk to us about the latest in text editor software, the next big thing behind SEO, bootstrapping and resources, and using business competitions to build his company. Hey everybody, Mitchell Chadro here. Welcome to the Listen Up Show podcast. If this is your first time listening, thanks for stopping by. Listen Up Show podcast is produced several times per week for your entertainment, and the show notes can be found at mitchellchadro.com/show032. Come back often and feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. Please sign up to my email list for the latest special offers exclusively for my Listen Up Show Startup Entrepreneur podcast audience at mitchellchadro.com/sign-up. Listen up, trusted friends. It's your business, it's your family, it's your life. Now let's get started. There are 3 sponsors for today's show. HostGator sponsors our startup round. Audible, an Amazon company, sponsors our fast pitch. And Snappa sponsors our wrap-up. You can also follow me on Twitter at Mitchell Chadro and Facebook.com/ListenUpShow. All links are in the show notes. Now, let's get into the show. Okay, we're here with Jeff Nowak from Boost Linguistics. Hey, how you doing this morning, Jeff?
Good. I'm traveling to Montreal. Going to spend the new year.
Oh, very cool. Well, you know, we're really thankful that you were able to come on, especially the end of this 2016. You know, we're really looking forward to 2017. So we really appreciate you coming on here at the end of this year. So let me ask you, I actually came across you because I actually read the Drexel blog quite a bit, and one day when I was on LinkedIn, I actually saw that you were in a Drexel Startup Day competition. So maybe you could tell us, how you got involved with Drexel Startup Day and tell us a little bit about, what happened there, and I think that would give the audience pretty good perspective on you and your company.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been part of the Drexel startup ecosystem for a while. Beginning back in 2015, Boost Linguistics has been a company for about a year and a half now. And we were originally going for the Closed School of Entrepreneurship's co-op in 2015. And once we had gone through the cycle of finding out how to approach the co-op, we got introduced to Chuck Sacco, Ian Sladen, Damien, Donna, and the whole rest of the suite that runs Close. And from then, we just kind of stuck to their events. And in particular, we ended up going for the business model competition, which was more about proving your market. That was this past July. And from there, we took first place in that and decided that we would try out the business plan competition, which is the big one in which they give away $25,000. So, we kind of had the momentum going into that competition from the business model one, where we proved our market back in July, and we took third place. And from there, just being a part of the ecosystem allowed us to understand what it took to really compete in these events and be a contender.
We actually interviewed Damien all the way back on show 14, and we got such a great feedback from the audience that since that time we've actually interviewed quite a number of Drexel entrepreneur startups such as yourselves, and so we're really excited. Now tell us a little bit about Boost Linguistics, because It says here that you're a bootstrapped company. What do you mean by a bootstrap company? Because we talk about leveraging resources here on the show, and so I know that the audience would be really interested in hearing some of your strategies and what you've been able to do to bootstrap the company to this point.
So I think I'm going to try to keep it simple when it comes to bootstrapping, because that's kind of our biggest motto. is keep it simple. I think for us, bootstrapping means that we have decided ourselves to skip a friends and family round and go right into, winning competitions and taking that money if we could, and then learning how to do things ourselves to keep costs low. So, anything that we need, we learn to do ourselves in order to skip the cost. So rather than going out and hiring a marketing agency, the team will go out and get the marketing certifications, AdWords certified, inbound certified, that the digital marketing agencies are offering. We'll just learn to do things ourselves. And then when it comes to development and programming, we'll go out and learn to do it ourselves, or bring someone on the team that can do it. We'll bring them in as, maybe an employee, or in our case, sometimes a founder. So that's how we really keep it, on the ground, intact, bootstrapped, and, less than cheap, because absolutely free as long as we can acquire the skills ourselves.
Yeah, it's really interesting because on a prior show, we had a fellow on, Mike Templeman, and he actually started up Foxtail Marketing, which is a very big agency, and he charges quite a bit of money each month to companies who obviously need to outsource that type of solution or service to businesses. And so, you mentioned about going out and sort of learning it yourself so that you don't have to hire a big company like that. But, there's a lot of startups out there, a lot of young entrepreneurs that might not have the resources. The startup round is sponsored by HostGator. For all our startups out there, for those who need to build a presence online, from everything to getting started, web hosting, domain name registrations, it's HostGator. Just go over to mitchellchadro.com/HostGator and start your plan today. That's mitchellchadro.com/HostGator. So what is your business model, your structure to basically attract some of the, if you will, the entry-level people coming into the market that you can work with them in a more affordable way than a big giant agency like Mike?
So I think, if you're speaking on bringing people into our agency and working with them, there's something that we really pride ourselves on. And my founder, Ethan, another co-founder, Ethan Bresnahan, actually was the one who kind of pioneered this. When people come to us, and we just started a hiring cycle recently, people select what they want to do. So, as an employee with Boost Linguistics, in your most selfish moment, what is it that you're thinking of? And just recently we had brought on someone who, in her most selfish moment, she wants to work on marketing strategy. But really, she was working for Johnson & Johnson doing operations management. So, in that job, she was pulling the task, but she wasn't really enjoying it, and she wasn't striving to do autonomous work herself and progress forward. So with this kind of cultural switch in which you decide what you want to do and you attack it at your own speed and desire, we've had the ability to continue this learn it yourself, execute it yourself, bootstrap it.
You guys are content marketers, and, content marketing is a very broad topic, which, is everything from, coming up with the content, coming up with the SEO. Tell us a little bit more about what you do, because, when I look at the description of what the company does, the first few names that come to mind are like Yoast, Grammarly. How is it that you sort of differentiate in your space, or how are you better? How are you different? How are you going to compete with maybe some of those players in this particular large niche?
Okay. So, the Yoast and Grammarly, they've set up, big brand names for themselves. They're very well known for what they do, and they do it well. But our particular product is there's no real knowledge. The market has no real knowledge of what we do. So sometimes the explanation is way too long and people don't really understand. So I think in this context, I'm going to try to put it in a way that anyone listening can understand. And, so Mitchell had sent me a message asking me to be on this podcast today. And I could see that, your message was maybe 300 words, maybe a little less. So the context of that message, what you're doing to me is you're sending me a message through the ether, and you're hoping that message has an impact on me. And you're hoping that it persuades me to do one thing. And in your case, your one thing is to get me to respond to you and then to say yes. So what our software does is it will run through in your case, if it's a template, it will run through your template. It will make suggested changes. And then you will select those changes as you see fit to make your writing more appealing to the reader. And will it also help me?
Will it also help in SEO as well? Because between me and you, when I look at companies like Yoast and Grammarly, just because those are known names to the people in the audience, and I look at their customer service, their technology might be good, but I don't really see them as really being hand-holding or hands-on. So I'm wondering, are you differentiating yourselves because you're maybe a little bit more hands-on with the customer, with the client, with maybe the newer person trying to get into starting up their entrepreneur business?
So I think for us, a big thing is definitely customer success. And the way we're trying to approach that, separate from Grammarly or Yoast, is, not yet, but down the line, we want to create specific, sets of language basically for every single customer. So the vernacular, the English that you use is going to be much different than the English that Johnson & Johnson uses. So we have a very hands-on relationship with our customers early on so that we know what they need and we know what, we need to be able to build based off of their needs. And without a relationship between the two of them or between us and them, there's no other way of finding out. So really,
now, isn't that the challenge for you because you have so many different industries? So, for example, if you're in healthcare, they use one set of language criteria. Financial services might use another type of language, and so I know that you can't be all things to all people. So, how do you, as a company, basically address the fact that you have clients coming to you who basically are in all these various different industries?
So we've been fortunate enough to the fact that the most basic of language, the most common 5,000 English words, are industry standards across the five, healthcare, finance, et cetera. So we don't see too much of a problem with that. But in the near future, yes, we definitely have laid out a method for solving the problem of finances customers are much different than healthcare customers. So they need to be spoken to differently, and they need to be addressed, at different times and different methods. So really how dealing with it is just knowing that the problem persists, and before we get to that hurdle, we've already sized it up and know we can jump in.
Let me ask you, would a customer be able to come to you, for example, my website, for example, mitchellchadro.com, and say, this is all my content. I want you to analyze my site for me, and I want you to basically come back to me and tell me what I can do to improve the content, not only from an SEO perspective, but from an engagement perspective, and, even if it's from a grammar perspective, but be able to then help me effectively in that area.
So as of right now, it's entirely by yourself. We don't yet offer hands-on services for customization like a design firm or anything like that. But if you were to personally take, or someone who worked with you or for you would take all of the text content from websites, blogs, et cetera, you could then optimize it to elicit a certain emotion in your audience. So you could ensure that every single time, if someone reads the call to action button on your website, that is reflecting on them in a specific emotional way, whether it be you trying to push anxiety on them, whether, you have to sign up now because the deal offers tomorrow, or if you just want them to feel generally happy, safe, and secure, that is what it'll be automatically optimized for, and it's specifically the text. So we do see these services being needed in the future to where we manually make the changes for your website, not a whole redesign, but more of an optimization stage. But right now it would have to be you. Basically, if you can imagine putting your copying and pasting your headline, putting it into Microsoft Word, and then copying and pasting it and putting it back on your website. That's what it would take right now.
do you currently have paid customers right now? I mean, what is your distribution model? Tell us about some of your successes that you've had, maybe some of your struggles. I mean, obviously you're a relatively young company in the startup phase, I suppose, and so tell us a little bit about that.
So there's no customers that I can publicize right now, and I don't mean that we don't have any customers. I just mean that it might not be right for me to expose them at this current time. But can you at least give us some numbers? Are they smaller customers under 100? Are they larger customers between 5 and 10? Without really mentioning the names or the. So I can definitely give you two subsets. So our first subset, I will give you a name. AmeriGas is it's a $5 billion a year company. They spend millions of dollars on marketing. They have their own internal marketing team that publishes their own curated content. So and who's that? AmeriGas.
Okay, sure.
So they have their own marketing team, CMO, who runs maybe like a 10 to 15 person team, and then they have interns who are writing their blogs. And then we have a smaller subset, which is freelancers and the 1 to 5 person digital marketing agencies, which is a much bigger subset. So right now we've had a really big push with digital marketing agencies because any mom and pop shop these days is highly encouraged to get on Google, and then even one step further, now that you're on Google, it's not enough. Now you need a blog. So with the push of getting on Google, having a blog, and people telling you, hey, we'll SEO your articles for money, there's been a huge amount of success in that market for us when, a digital marketing agency can spring up anywhere overnight. It doesn't matter where you are, as long as you have a laptop and some basic information, you can do SEO for a company and charge them money for it on a regular basis. So with us, we've had a great success selling to those companies because they're making money so quickly and they're willing to spend money on things that will get them above the other new agencies. So really, it's been a big success with this current trend.
I see how you're going to work with maybe a larger type of company and a smaller type of agency. I'm also thinking for the people, the audience that are obviously listening to this. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people that are clearly startup entrepreneurs, business owners who have been in business for several years but still need some individual help, obviously, and people that are transitioning, they're professionals and they're transitioning into doing something on the side that obviously need that one-on-one help, in terms of their own content. How are you going to sort of work and help those individuals, or is that not your business model?
No, it definitely is. So right now we're offering a free trial, and that's because we're still testing our pricing structure. But we've laid out a pricing structure where the little guy is not left out. So the little guy has the ability, if you're only publishing one blog a month, you have the ability with us to, for a very low cost, make that blog the best possible. So, these days, almost every market is saturated. So you might be offering something that somebody else offers, but with us, you can, make your advertisements, make your blog, make your website stand out that much more by editing all the content that you produce. And, by keeping it a low cost and even, we were debating a barter system, because right now the dollar economy it's not nearly as attractive. People are less willing to spend money, even though the U.S. is doing great.
And how are you going to then go back to the client and measure what it is that you've done for them? So in other words, this costs X number of dollars, and this is how effective we've been to sort of help you.
So we don't have metrics that come from client to client. We have metrics of overall ability to succeed. Things like emotional marketing has been able to produce like a 50% open rate on emails. We can't guarantee things like that for you, but what we can do is guarantee that your audience never receives any negative sentiment. So really, a big success metric for us, and the one that we try to track, is customer retention and trying to keep the same people you're working with rather than constantly battling for the new customers. So it's not specific to any one person, but it's an overall metric that we try to judge simply throughout.
So for example, just for ease of the audience understanding and taking what you do and sort of making it in such a way that they can understand it a little bit better. After I interview people, I obviously send out emails to my subscriber list, and in that communication is basically a call to action to basically say, this is a new interview that we recently did, and here's the link, and please listen and consume the information, and we would appreciate it if you could share it. Are you able to then help people in a similar situation like that to basically craft that email and then say, you were able to get, a 40 or 50% click rate, and people were able to be more engaged with the content?
Yes, that's. I think the key word out of what you just said is engage. And the way we do this is you'll receive an emotional score. The thing that surprises people so far is, when things like fear and anger are elicited in your call to action, then we see people make the change to joy. So sometimes anxiety and fear, they elicit people to touch it, to click it, but it doesn't drive any further action beyond that. They click it and then they exit. So knowing that you're eliciting the emotion of joy and trust by simply editing the text in the call to action or in the email, then you're looking at a bigger, not just a click-through, but a success rate of people who actually fill out the form, do share it like you asked, and then move on to be a evangelist of the podcast.
So you're helping people create their landing pages. You're helping people, with their calls to action. The software is, rewriting basically the content in such a fashion where it emotionally connects with the audience to get them to obviously, take action. Yeah,
and then we offer some insight on how you can use emotion. So understand not everyone's a psychologist. So we offer insight on what joy does. What is the role of joy in this email, and then you can better understand which emotion you would like to.
Do you then help them with their rankings in Google, in working with Google Analytics and the other things to sort of help them rank higher so that it brings obviously more traffic to their website? I mean, everything is interconnected.
Yeah. So right now, SEO is huge, but we really have strayed from SEO with the belief that the Google algorithm for searching is getting better every day, and SEO is becoming saturated. So, there's only so many keywords, and there's only so many articles or posts or websites that can link to that one keyword. So we're really banking off the increase of what Google calls your quality score. Now, raising your quality score can lower, this might get a little technical as far as Google AdWords and analytics go, but raising your quality score can lower your pay per click. So if I was to take a blog post that was unedited by our software, let's say I would spend $1,000 over the course of a month promoting it, and it would be an ad, maybe the second or third ad on the list of Google, not number one. What the edits that we provide, the quality score of it increasing, and the Google algorithm reading and understanding this increase in quality score is now you would spend $500 on promotion, and it would increase to the top spot. So you can see how you're saving yourself money just by.
So are you saying that this quality score is the next bigger thing above and beyond SEO in terms of where the industry is going?
Yeah, that's really what we're banking on, because Google is,
all right.
Again, kind of technical, but Google is really working with natural language processing. So really, if the most basic of what we're doing is English to English translation. We take your English and we make it into better English.
It kind of reminds me when I was in law school and we had this class where they said, when you write something, don't have all the legalese and all the gobbledygook. Just write in simple, plain English. And I think that's what you're basically touting here with your particular software. Would that be an accurate statement?
Yeah, I would say so. And I think one of the big testaments to this was specifically in the travel agency or the travel industry. So one of our clients, his name is Jason Smith. He's Australian, and travel it's international. So it's primarily in English, but the readers span all over the globe. So they were spending about $1 million a year on promotion of their blog, and it was seeing good results. But when he went back and did manual edits, so basically what our software does automatically, over the course of 2 years, he was able to reduce their yearly spending to $400,000 and produce metrics that were up to 5% better. So it's not really, how much better you can promote it, how many more people can see it. It's how much money you can save and still see very similar results. There's no need to dump all this money into it when you could just improve the quality score and Google will take care of the rest.
The Fast Pitch is sponsored by Audible, an Amazon company. I love books. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from. So start your free 30-day trial today and get one free download just by heading over to mitchellchadro.com/audible. Again, that's mitchellchadro.com/audible, AUDIBLE. Our next round, we call it our fast round, our fast pitch, where we just ask you some quick questions. It's like a fast pitch in a competition, as you guys are probably very familiar with, where you only have a limited amount of time to basically answer the question. So what has been your best business advice?
I think my best business advice is probably just keep it simple. Learn to listen, definitely. Even though I run it with co-founders, time and time again, people who have, just seen the business for the first time are giving advice that I never thought of. So if you can't learn to listen and then build on others' ideas, then there's no chance of success. So really just, take it slow, listen up, and,
Business book that you can recommend to our listeners to read?
Oh, man, it's perfect timing. So right now it's the holidays, so I'm definitely reading. There's 2 books. One was given to me by a co-founder, The Alliance. I think it's by Jeff Reed, someone from LinkedIn. And also Breakthrough Advertising. This is a hard one to find. And I definitely don't encourage pirating, but it's a very expensive book. It's like a couple $1,000 because it's so old. But this book will make you a great copywriter. If you're a solopreneur and you don't know how to write an ad and you're sitting there looking at a Facebook post, struggling, this will tell you how to break down your problem and write the ad to your specific market for that particular problem. Again, the book is Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz.
Now we know about your the different apps that you're involved with, but as far as one that you can recommend to the audience that basically helps you the most in business, family, or life, it could be anything that you can recommend.
So a big thing with me is being an extrovert. I rely heavily on social pressure. So having others see what I'm doing and the fact that I know they can see what I'm doing is very big. So I love to use Slack, Trello, and our entire the infrastructure is on the Google Suite. So anyone can see what you're doing and when you're logged on and when you're not. And this allows, it's a self-motivation point. So Slack, Trello, and the Google Suite.
And the Google Suite. No, that's great. As far as like a quote or a mantra or something that can inspire or motivate, if you could just put it right up there on a billboard, what would it say or what would it be?
Just keep moving. Definitely. Just keep moving, period. Yeah.
Fun fact about you that maybe not a lot of people know about?
I hate to read, and I hate solitude. So people think they're bothering me, but really without other people, I don't think I could survive another day. So I'm definitely very extroverted, but people don't often see that, maybe because I'm locked in my headphones. But I just wish more people would come up and have a conversation about startups and business.
And something that costs under $100 that has impacted you the most.
Something that costs under $100 that has impacted me the most. Oh man, that is absolutely headphones. Yeah, I mean, with me.
There you go. Because we talked about a bootstrap company. We talked about leveraging resources, and so that question kind of goes to letting people know that, hey, you don't have to spend a lot to basically get a lot, and sometimes in life that's true.
Yeah.
Great. As far as yeah. Now jump right in.
Yeah. So with me, having an iPhone and having a MacBook, you got to realize that once you have these two things, you give yourself the ability to work anywhere in the world. So when you buy a $100 pair of Bose headphones, then you put them on, whether you're in a Starbucks in Austria or if you're in San Diego, once you turn these things on and you plug them into your iPod, it turns into a workspace no matter where you are. So with a laptop and headphones, you don't need a big office. That's really all you need.
Perfect. No, that's great. I just want to reemphasize. You had mentioned you graduated from Drexel not too long ago, and you were in is it pronounced Badia Institute for Entrepreneurship? Can you tell us a little bit about the resources that they're providing to you right now, and maybe some advice for others out there to basically tap into the communities that are surrounding them so that they can leverage some of those resources as well?
So Biata for us was definitely a goal, and we previously we were the epitome of college startup. We had our meetings after class in the business building, and we would get kicked out almost every night. Security would tell us please leave, and we would beg for 5 more minutes. So what Biata does is it gives you a 24/7 space to work on your company, and when you're in Biata, there's goofing around and there's free pizza, and you can hang out with people. But really, this is it might as well be a formal office, because putting code, people are making companies, and the guy or girl to your left or right is very soon to not be a millionaire, but get their first customer. That's kind of the entire culture of it. Is everyone is going for a first or second customer, their past idea, and it's time to sell. So the resources really lie within the people. Free printing, free Wi-Fi, and a place to sit is great, but we've already done those things in the dorm room. So having the ability to be with other people who are absolutely killing it in other industries, people like Horatio, people like Booksmart, people like Turn Water. The fact that you stand up and you look to your left and 10 feet away is the CEO of a company that's about to make $1 million deal, it's very motivating, I think. And everyone is chasing not the same goal, but chasing, their own goals in their own way. And in a way, it's kind of like being in a library. If others are studying, you're going to be yourself forced to study. So it's really just about the people.
The wrap-up round is sponsored by Snappa. People don't want to hire a dedicated graphic designer, but you do need graphic designing. So for all of your blogs, posts, social media, website, I need that type of help for myself. So I use Snappa. It helps me to resize all of my graphics, and we actually had Christopher Gimmer on our show, 027, who's the founder of Snappa. He has a great company with great people. I certainly recommend it to my audience, so head on over to mitchellchadro.com/Snappa to start your plan today. That's mitchellchadro.com/Snappa, SNAPPA. You had talked a little bit about the offer, the free trial that you're promoting in 2017. I did have an opportunity to go over and look at your website. Maybe talk to us a little bit about that and how people can obviously stay in touch with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is boost-ling.com, boostling.com, and the free trial is boostling.com/free trial, and you can definitely sign up for a free trial for 2017. We're going to be giving you a free month. It's a month-over-month subscription, so a free month is definitely of great value. If you're not using content marketing, or if you're unsure if a blog or content production is right for your business, we are also teaching a content marketing class to prove that, no matter what you're doing, there is a way for you to produce content that will prove results for your business. So definitely also be sure to check that out on our website. It's a content marketing class, boostling.com/CM class. And, it's free to register, normally a $50 value, but, we also have some special guests coming into that class who are leaders in the industry. So it would be a great opportunity for your small business to begin writing your blog or producing the content you need to get new customers.
And I'll definitely have all the show notes and all the links to everything that we've talked about and all the social media. Just in parting here, Jeff, and we really want to thank you so much. I know that the audience is really going to certainly reach out and they'll certainly get a lot out of this interview. 3 main takeaway lessons that you can impart on the audience that you've kind of learned along your journey so far. 3 things.
Okay. The first one is definitely, to get back to culture. Unless you have 150 employees, which very, very few of you don't, there's no need for titles. I see too many business cards that are CEO, co-founder. None of that matters, because one day you're a CMO, one day you're a COO, the next day you're writing code. So I think that's my biggest one, is it's all about the name on the front and not the name on the back of the jersey. I think a second one is you have to let people fall in the grass themselves. As a founder, you like to be an overbearing parent, but what becomes overbearing is then you block someone's idea and people become afraid to express themselves. And if people are afraid to express themselves, then you're producing mediocre work. And as the saying goes, mediocre work gets us nowhere.
And third?
I think a third one is it's pretty traditional. Is keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid, of course, the KISS and analogy. And just, really if you're thinking about it for too long, you're overthinking it and you have to go back and restart. So if you just keep it simple from the start, you don't need to worry about thinking about it too much, and you'll be able to produce good results.
Jeff Nowak, Boost Linguistics, thank you so much for the end of this new year. We really appreciate you coming on to the Listen Up show, and I know that the audience is really going to get a lot out of it. So thank you very much, and we look forward to touching base with you soon again.
Yeah, I absolutely appreciate it. And I just want to say to everyone, remember, content is king. So if you're not on the internet, no one knows you exist. So make sure you're producing content. I appreciate being on.
Great advice. Thanks again. You take care now. Bye-bye. Sign up for our Listen Up email list. All the latest resources, advice, practical tips, and show notes at mitchellchadro.com/sign up. If you have been a regular listener of the Listen Up show, we want to thank you so much for all your support, and please consider giving us a written review on iTunes by heading on over to mitchellchadro.com/iTunes. It really does help encourage and inspire and motivate others to start up and allows them to also find the resources and the advice that they need to get started. So again, that's mitchellchadro.com/iTunes. It literally will take you 2 minutes for you to give a written review, and I really will appreciate it.